Tonight, one man is charged with murder in the stabbing death of a 26-year-old Miku man. The police force says a crack-slicing individual filmed at the side of the road is no relation to the Commissioner of Police. And the new Cannabis Commission is in place and hopes are high that St. Lucia will make some progressive steps towards cannabis decriminalization. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 13th of September 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM. You can also watch on our website. It's www.caribbeanhottv.com or on our Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The latest viral video shows a man along the side of the road, razor in hand, cutting up what appears to be crack cocaine. The individual behind the camera laments that the male in question is so brazen as to be indulging in an illicit substance along the public road. The man, who continues to chop at the cubes, retorts that he is the son of the commissioner. While the statement came across as an attempt at sarcasm, the police force is taking no chances and set the record straight in an email on Friday. It states, quote, "There is a video in circulation of a male appearing to be engaging in the use of illicit substances. We wish to make it clear that the individual portrayed in the video is not the son of or in any way related to or affiliated in any way to the Commissioner of Police," end quote. Crack is a dangerous illegal drug that can lead to severe respiratory problems, severe damage to the heart, liver, and kidneys. Users are more likely to have infectious diseases. Continued use causes sleep deprivation and loss of appetite, resulting in malnutrition. Smoking crack cocaine also causes aggressive and paranoid behavior. The drug interferes with the way the brain processes chemicals, and one needs more and more of the drug just to feel normal. Those who become addicted lose interest in other areas of life. In other news, on Thursday, the 12th of September, 38-year-old Shan Samuel of Miku was formally charged for causing the death of 26-year-old Paul Albert of Magretut Miku on Thursday, the 25th of July, on Manuel Street in Castries. Albert, who sustained multiple stab wounds during the altercation, succumbed to his injuries at the Victoria Hospital. Shan Samuel was charged for the offense of murder, contrary to Section 85 of the Criminal Code, Chapter 3 of the Revised Laws of St. Lucia. He was escorted to the First District Court on Friday, the 13th of September, for a bail hearing, where he was remanded into custody. He is expected to return before the court on the 3rd of October for case management. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has thanked members of the public who were instrumental in bringing resolution to this matter. Minister for Enterprise Development, International Trade and Investment, Bradley Felix, is happy to announce the approved establishment of a commission responsible for the review and recommendations on the regulatory framework for cannabis. Felix says he is inundated with calls from people interested in investing in the new sector, and so he is looking to get the ball rolling. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
Minister Bradley Felix has expressed his excitement over the establishment of a new cannabis commission, which has been assembled to make reviews and recommendations on the regulatory framework for the highly anticipated cannabis sector in St. Lucia. Hot 7 News sat with Felix on the day of the very first meeting of the commission, where he revealed that all the persons who had been identified to be on the commission were present. Among the many topics discussed were the organization of town hall meetings, consultations, and possible benefits. Felix said he is revving to go in order to get the ball rolling on the matter, as the investors are eagerly waiting to inject funds into the lucrative sector.
A suggestion was made that because of the time frame, we want to ensure that we address this matter. We could even break up the commission in two groups so that we could, deal with a bigger space. So this afternoon, there's going to be pretty much an introduction of members, what is the commission, the work that the commission is expected to achieve, the educational part of it, what is the government looking to get out of it, and we're hoping that the traction will become very real, because as the minister was being assigned to handle this cannabis situation, I get a lot of calls. I get a lot of calls from investors, from various people who have interests locally, internationally, and so I really want us to get this thing, on the road. Let's get the meetings. Let's get the feedback from the population.
Felix said our sister islands are already way ahead of the game, and it is time to play catch-up and take advantage of the economic benefits that the sector is known to attract. He said the urgency behind the movement will ensure the expeditious push to decriminalize the plant.
We have to look at the people traveling from various countries where it is legalized or decriminalized, and internationally, regionally, and as a country, you not necessarily have your legislation in place to cover that. The implications for that kind of movement. We have the whole issue of some of our workers working in Canada or intending to go to Canada to work on cannabis farms. Okay, the whole issue of the monies that they earn, whether that money is legal to come back into St. Lucia. There are just certain factors that we have to address and deal with. The kind of maybe outcome where some people believe it's going to be full blown legislation as it relates to everything that people have, it may not come one time. Everything comes in parts. But at the end of the day, I think the consultation, the town hall meetings would direct and educate the direction in which the government, through the commission, the direction the government takes.
The minister said he will not give an exact date, but assures that results will be seen as soon as possible. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you, Rochelle. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chasney has called on the international community not to take the resilience of small island states for granted. Chasney, who's also the current chairman of CARICOM, spoke against the backdrop of the passage of Hurricane Dorian, which devastated the Bahamas. He spoke of the need to convince the world that small island developing states are under tremendous stress. CARICOM Chairman and St. Lucian Prime Minister Alan Chasney has underscored the need to learn the difficult and painful lessons being taught by climate change. He made the comments at the 2019 UN Forum. Speaking against the backdrop of Hurricane Dorian, he spoke about the particular challenges of small island developing states. His biggest concern is the lack of change to adapt to climate change.
What scares me really is the fact that history is repeating itself, and it seems like we're not learning anything. We're going through the same process that we do after every catastrophe. There is this empathy, there's this sympathy, there's this emergency that's never sustained. And the fact is that we're not able to step back and accept that this is now the new normal and requires a fundamental change in how we go about doing things. So small countries are very vulnerable because the size of our economies in absolute terms make us vulnerable. These hurricanes, if we look at Dominica, 200% of GDP. What does that mean? It means that after the hurricane, what was the infrastructure to conduct daily business doesn't exist. So it's not only the loss of it, but how much you're going to have to invest to get back to it.
He recalled the recent natural disasters in Dominica and Haiti, which impacted thousands of lives and decimated public infrastructure. He says the world should not take the resilience of small island developing states in the aftermath of such disasters for granted. He also announced that small island developing states are taking steps to address their needs.
Just because Dominica is operational and just because Haiti is operational, and more than likely in the next couple of weeks, life will go on in the Bahamas, it doesn't mean that it's going on where it was before and that there's not been an impact. Unfortunately, I've learned over the last 3 years that the bureaucracy and the process of our systems and the new word governance are so strongly embedded in our institutions that it makes it very difficult for them to adapt to this new normal. So everybody's using the term new normal, but you're not seeing the consequent action to go with it. And so we've come up here to say the solution that we have come forward with that takes into consideration the difficulty of these institutions to change, and with the appreciation that we're not in control of our own destiny, is for us to be able to create our own SIDS foundation.
The CARICOM chairman says moving forward, the goal has to be a constant state of readiness among small island developing states, which encompasses mitigation measures like building for climate change, slope stabilization, desilting programs, and extensive public awareness, among other things.
Now, the devastation of Dorian has left small island developing states looking inward at their various levels of infrastructural projects. The 56th meeting of Ministers of Health in St. Lucia provided PAHO and the WHO the opportunity to stress the importance of building climate-resistant structures able to withstand the impact of adverse weather conditions and other factors of climate change.
I am sure that in the PAHO Directing Council this will come up as well, because of course it is a natural disaster that is affecting many people. And in the health sector particularly, it's also one of the areas that we need to ensure that we strengthen and we have our systems re-strengthened for the vulnerabilities of climate change. One of the things that PAHO has been doing in the region, and St. Lucia has been the beneficiary of it, is a system which we call the smart hospitals. And the smart hospitals work on two pretexts. One, we strengthen the structure so that it is more susceptible to or resistant to vulnerabilities. But also the second is that we do not contribute, or we minimize the contribution to climate change by making those facilities greener and less harmful to the environment and more green, so that they will also be a lower contributor to the climate change.
A green checklist outlined by PAHO for smart hospitals include the various recommendations: water use reduction through rain capture systems and development of a water conservation plan, energy conservation and use of energy efficient options like solar water heaters instead of electrical heaters. Additionally, environmental quality like integrated pest management, mercury elimination and reduction, and lasting of local sustainable produce are all included. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, modernizing the licensing process to put an end to inconveniences at the Department of Transport, a call to finally implement 21 constituencies as opposed to the existing 17, and the Zooks are on fire. That and more when we return.